Dr. Shabir, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
My pleasure to be on.
Now, Ramadan is here, and some new Muslims might be wondering how they can cope in this month because it's difficult. Fasting is difficult even for Muslims. So how does a new Muslim deal with it? And I thought I'd ask your advice, Dr. Shabir.
Yeah, so one has to take it gradually and do as much as one is able. The Quran says, فَاتَّقُوا اللَّهَ مَا اسْتَطَعْتُمْ. Fear Allah as much as you are able. And a hadith relates that the Prophet, peace be upon him, said, if I command you to do something, do of it as much as you're able. So this as much as you're able, this is a Quranic principle. The Quran, for example, speaking about going to Hajj, it says, إِنِ اسْتَطَعْتُمْ إِلَيْهِ سَبِيلًا. If you are able to find the way to there. So it all depends on ability. The Quran also says as a general principle, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. God does not enjoin upon a person or hold a person responsible for more than the person is able to do.
Mm-hmm. So what's your advice to a new Muslim starting out? Should they, let's say fast part of the day? Should they fast an hour a day? How would it work as they lead up to maybe fasting the whole day?
Yeah, so maybe I should start with the ideal, which is fasting the whole day. So it's required of every able-bodied Muslim, according to the classical interpretations of Islam, that you fast during the entire day. That means from dawn to sunset. So I'm looking here specifically at the consideration that most of us have been fasting since we were children. We started out with a part of the day, and then, mom said, okay, no lunch for you today, but when you come home from school, you can have your lunch then. And then at a later stage, you have a cup of tea instead of the late lunch. And you gradually get weaned into it. And then we become accustomed to it. And now it still has its difficulties, but of course it becomes easier and easier. It becomes almost second place for Muslims who have been accustomed to doing it. But for the new Muslim, it could be a challenge. We recognize that. So one can ease oneself into it. Some people maybe say, look, I'm brave, I'm strong, I'm young, I can do it, and let me do it. So it might be a good idea to try it out before the start of Ramadan, because then one is fasting voluntarily. And if you're fasting voluntarily and you decide to break it during the day, then there's no consequence, according to many interpreters. If you start fasting during the Ramadan, then you don't want to deliberately break it. But if it comes to a point where somebody, is afraid that one might faint or something like this, then one could actually avail oneself of something to eat, in which case that day of fast is broken and you would have to fast a day to make it up later. Mm-hmm. As opposed to, let's say, having intimate relations during the fast. That will also break the fast, but the penalty for that, according to what is reported in Hadith, is that one would have to fast 60 days consecutively, which would be quite a difficulty. One does not want to break the fast deliberately, but one could actually do what we did as children, at least at first. Try it out to see how it goes. So you're not actually intending to fast the whole day of Ramadan. You're doing a kind of a trial, and you see how much you can endure. And you go a little bit longer each day until you feel that you can master the whole day.
Mm-hmm. Dr. Shabir, what advice do you have for new Muslims who might not know very much about Ramadan? How can they find out more?
There are a number of websites, actually, I came to see that are geared towards new Muslims. And so you might even type in new Muslims and Ramadan or new Muslims and fast, and you will find that there are some hits that come up, putting things in a simple way for new Muslims to navigate. Also, your local mosque will have some booklets, leaflets, and other guides in writing or even audiovisual material to help you to navigate this process. More so, and there's nothing like a personal touch, if you, not a physical touch because now we're in a COVID situation, but the personal care of your local imam or other responsible persons at your local mosque, they will be able to guide you and include you as part of the community, because the community spirit is very important. It is an important part of Ramadan, and trying to fast when you're alone, this is difficult. It just adds more difficulty to the difficulty of fasting itself. But in fact, being together with the community gives you the sense of belonging, and it gives you the team spirit. It makes you realize that you're not alone with your fast, but there are others who are doing it, and that gives you the courage. It's almost like, either working out alone or working out in a gym. People may find that working out in a gym, you see everybody around you exercising. It gives you more inspiration to continue exercising. Whereas if you're at home and everybody else is like watching TV or playing around, it might seem like hard work for you to go through the rigors of exercise. So this is a spiritual exercise, and it just it becomes easier when you're there with the community.
Dr. Shabir, there's much more to Ramadan than just fasting. So what advice would you have for a new Muslim in terms of what else they should be doing?
Yeah, so one of the things that should be known about the fasting is that the Quran says in Surah 2:184, those who would have found it difficult to fast can feed a poor person instead. So this generally is thought to apply to older people who are too old to fast, or somebody who is sick and doesn't expect to recover. Some interpretations, which I agree with, would say that this also applies to the mother who is pregnant, or she's breastfeeding a baby, because naturally she needs to eat to get her nutrients up to supply either her the embryo, intrauterine embryo, or she is nursing her baby who needs the nutrients as well. But it seems to me that also we could apply that to a new Muslim who is just starting out and is not really sure that he or she can do this. So maybe for the first few days, they pay the fidya until they get accustomed to undergo the rigors of the fast.
So can you speak about, let's say their relationship with the Quran, how they can develop that, or what other things they should be doing beyond fasting?
Yeah, so beyond fasting, obviously we need to draw closer to God by reading the Quran, by offering voluntary prayers, and doing charitable works, not only giving money in terms of charity, but giving one's time, making effort for the betterment of the society. All of these are charitable works. Learning about Islam is also a good Muslim deed. And in fact, there's a lot that can be said in praise of just the act of learning. And many of us who have been Muslims all of our lives, we take it for granted we know Islam, but that when somebody asks us a question, when you ask me a question, that's when I realize how little I know. So we need to all learn more, and the new Muslim realizes that he or she has to learn more, and by learning more during the month of Ramadan, that was also an act of devotion to God, just simply learning about the religion.
Thank you for that, Dr. Shabir.
You're welcome. You can change someone's life this Ramadan. Donate as much or as little as you can and be part of our project to share the message of Islam to people across the globe. Visit QuranSpeaks.com and donate. Your contribution is zakat eligible and tax deductible. May God keep you safe and healthy. May God bless you and your loved ones with the very best always.